You could take time, go take time.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Reagan, and I have a question for all of you this morning. How many of you have ever watched a sports game or participated in an intramural and been a little bit confused about the rules or a little unsure about what was going on? Perfect. So I hope I can clear up some things with you, at least one sport today, and that is going to be volleyball. I'm going to show you the basics of the sport. Today we're going to go over the basic skills of volleyball, the basic positions, and also some of the basic rules. So first we're going to talk about the skills. There are 6 main skills when it comes to volleyball. The first is serving. Serving is the only skill that you'll ever do all alone, and this is where you'll stand behind the out of bounds line on your side, and you can either overhand or underhand serve. It starts off the point, and what you're going to do is you can toss the ball into the air and hit it for an overhand serve, or you can lift it off of your hand and hit it underhand like so. The next skill involved in volleyball is passing. So for passing, there's a few different ways you can do it. You have to interlock your hands. Either some people will do it like this, but most people will take one hand over top of the other and hyperextend their elbows and pass like that. And if you picture a clock, you would go from 7 to 8 to be able to control the ball. The next skill is digging. Digging is just like passing, except for digging is when your opponent is hitting the ball at you and you have to receive it. So it's a bit of a harder hit that you're trying to get up into the air. The next skill is setting. So for setting, this is usually an overhand volley, and what you do is you put your hands above your head, use your fingertips to control the ball and decide which hitter it's going to go to. The next skill is hitting. Hitting is done when you start at the 10-foot line. You do your approach, which depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed is different, but it's a 3-step approach, and then you take your hand back and swing it to contact the ball, and the goal is to get the ball up and over the net and go down pretty hard at your opponent's ground. The last skill is blocking. So for blocking, what you do is you want to defend your opponent trying to attack you. So you press your hands above the net and over top, and you try to defend the ball before it gets over to your side, or at least slow it down for your passers. Next, we're going to talk about the basic positions in volleyball. The first are passers. So there are 2 positions you can be if you're in the back row, if you're a passer. The first is just a defensive specialist, and this is someone who just plays in the back row. They'll usually sub in for hitters, and their main goal is to pass. They dig, they serve, receive, which is when your opponent's serving, you have to receive the ball with the pass. They usually will only play in the back row, but they can play in the front row if they have to. The next in the back row is a libero. A libero is the player that's wearing a different color jersey. So if you've ever seen that and been confused why someone was not in the right color, that's why they're the libero. So they are the primary passer. They're usually the best passer on the court. They're usually the quickest, the best able to get balls off the ground. Their main goal is to pass again, to serve, receive, to defend pretty much everything. They are not allowed to play in the front row. If you're wearing a libero jersey, you're not allowed to sub into the front no matter what. So they also don't have to sub in and out. They can just kind of run up to their player that's going in for them in the front and just high-five them and go on out. They don't have to get any signals from the refs. The next is the setter. The setter usually takes the second contact, and they usually do that overhand volley. They're the ones who are in control of the court. Sometimes setters are referred to as the quarterback of the court, and they have really good communications. Oftentimes they're really great team leaders. They are the ones who are either in the front right or the left right, or the front right or the back right, and they are pretty much in control of who gets to hit the ball. So they have to have really good chemistry with their teammates. And the next position are the hitters. So there's 3 different hitters you can be. The first is the outside hitter. Usually this is the most versatile player on the court. They are left front. They will attack, they block, they defend, they serve, receive. Usually they'll play all the way around, so they'll be playing the back row and the front row. They're usually pretty athletic and in pretty much the whole game. Next is the middle blocker. The middle blocker is the most demanding position physically. They're just running attacks again and again and again. They're in the middle front. They block and attack, and usually they'll quick attack, which means they'll run like a faster attack. Their approach will be quicker, and their hits will be quicker. Next is the right side hitter. The right side hitter is on the right front, and they stand behind the setter. They attack, defend, serve, receive, And usually if the setter ends up having to pass the first ball, they'll set the second ball. Next, we're going to talk about some of the very basic rules, the rules of the court. So first of all, this is a volleyball court. Everything inside the red is inbounds and everything else is out of bounds. If it's on the line, it's in. Next is scoring. So you score a point every time the ball hits this floor on the other team's court. And you can score by attacking, by serving, by dumping the ball, by passing the ball, whatever works. You just have to get the ball over the net and onto their floor. Next, we're going to talk about whose serve it is. Each person serves until their team loses a point. So if I'm serving, I serve, and our team gets the point. Then I serve again, and I keep serving until our team loses the point, and then it will go to the other team. And then they rotate around, and the next server will serve. So if I'm serving and Alex is in front of me, then once I'm done serving, we lose the point, the other team serves, they lose the point, then we rotate, and Alex would serve. Next, we're going to talk about rotating and subbing. So there's 6 players on the court. You rotate clockwise, and you are able to sub in for one person each game. So you're only allowed, if I sub in for Alex, I'm only allowed to sub in for Alex. I can't sub in for someone else. And you can sub in at any point, but you have a limited amount, and I don't remember exactly what the amount is. But libero is the only person that doesn't have sub in and out, as we talked about. And to sub, you go to the 10-foot line until the ref gives you the okay, and then you can high five and step in. These are my references, and I hope you all learned some more about volleyball. Thank you.